Alright, hey everyone. I know it's been about 9 months, but gonna do a book review, cause, I'm trash. Wow. Oh, editing's gonna be a bitch. Hey, so today I decided to do a book review for James Luceno's Darth Plagueis. Yeah, and this time to help reduce the time, because the last time it took me 15 minutes to do a book review. I wrote down like a summary, so I'll read off of that and try not to get sidetracked. So, summary. So, James Luceno's novel follows Darth Plagueis, who is the Sith Lord that seeks to end Darth Bane's rule of two. And for those of you who don't know the rule of two, that is, there can only be two Sith at a time, the master who holds the power and the apprentice who craves it. And eventually, that apprentice will find and secretly train another one, and once the first apprentice becomes strong enough, will fight their master, and either they will kill them, becoming the master, or lose, and the apprentice that they have chosen will become that master's apprentice. To reiterate, it follows Darth Plagueis, who seeks eternal life. So, Plagueis kills his master Darth Tenebrius in order to end with him the rule of two, but by killing him, he is fulfilling the prophecy of the rule of two, which Bane has set down and has been now followed for 1,000 years. So after that, he first experiments on Tenebrius' body to try to bring him back to see if he can manipulate midichlorians, and he can barely do it. And so then we follow him as he goes to Naboo, and he ends up meeting a 17-year-old Chief Palpatine. And he's drawn to him, but he couldn't understand why at first, and then quickly into their conversation realizes that he is extremely strong in the Force, one of the most strong Force users that Plagueis has ever met, and he is so masterful at suppressing his Force energy, so that way he seems like a normal person, that even Plagueis couldn't detect the Force sensitivity in him for most of the time that he knew him before he became his master. Let's see. So then the novel follows the next 30 years of their lives after they meet when Palpatine's 17. We see Plagueis train Palpatine, in fact giving him the name Sidious through his basically rebirth into the Force, his final deed that makes him drawn to the dark side by killing people through the dark side. We see Palpatine get placed within the Senate. We see how he works behind the scenes while also training Darth Maul and having these secrets from his own master, while having secrets from the Senate and people that he's close with. Basically, we see the manipulation that Palpatine is known for throughout the entire cinematographic, throughout all the movies, because I totally know how to say cinematographic. I think that's the word I wanted. Anyway, a reason to read it is if you're really into sci-fi, this is a very good flavor of sci-fi. James Luceno is an amazing writer. He's written multiple Star Wars novels in the New Jedi Order back in 98 and 99, I believe, which is the Dark Tide 1 and 2, which is like the 7th and 9th book in the new Jedi Order series. On top of that, we see familiar faces, such as Count Dooku before he falls to the dark side. We see Master Sifo Dyas, who we learn in the second movie is the one that created the clones. We see a young Qui-Gon Jinn. We meet Anakin for the first time through that novel, because we see him in episode 1. We see, really, it's a lot of the background of the first episode. So we see why the Trade Federation is trying to annex Naboo for its plasma. We see how the the Galactic Banking Clan is so heavily involved in the Senate, and how Palpatine has so many ties to it. And one thing I want to do when I do book reviews is I want to give a quote and I'm going to put a page, like, ask you guys to find the page to see if you're actually interested in reading the book. If not, that's totally cool. I'm not going to do prizes as of right now because I don't have anything to give. I just got out of college, so I don't have too much. But the quote that stuck with me, and there were a lot of amazing sentences that I want to use, but it would ruin a lot of the novel. So I went with a nondescript quote that I think really ties into the novel. And so the quote is, "To we who dwell in the Force, normal life is a little more than pretense. Our only actions of significance are those we undertake in service to the dark side." James Luceno comes from sci-fi writers that were writing from the early 70s up until now, such as like Timothy Zahn, R.A. Salvatore, Kevin J. Anderson, and they have this huge language and this large vocabulary, and they each paint their own world. And one thing that I really love about these writers is I usually have to have a dictionary with me, so that way I can get, maybe 20 to 30 words a novel that I don't know. And that's amazing to me, is being able to learn all those different ways to say one word, but in more complex forms. So if you're really into that, James Luceno is a great one, and all the other names I dropped are fantastic to read, and I'll be reading some of their books and doing a book review at some point. And then, let's see, overall for continuity, there's not any, there's only one mistake, and it's Prince Caesar, who is the Prince of the Fallings, who is a large part of the New Republic and the New Jedi Order. They misspell his name as Xixor as opposed to Xizor. And that's it. That's the only continuity thing that slipped under the radar. So, overall, I would give the book about a 9.2 out of 10. And that's solely because a lot of the novel is dealing with that background and laying in the groundwork and weaving the web of episode 1, leading all into that. And that, to me, can get a little boring. I prefer having about every 50 to 60 pages of a book have some form of action event going on, which is very reminiscent of early Star Wars novels. So because of that, I'm going to take it down from probably like a 9.5 to like a 9.2 or a 9. Let's just say 9. But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic book. It leads into episode 1. In fact, it ends right in the beginning of episode 1, so you don't miss anything. Cool, I wrote down a lot of stuff to say, and I really screwed the pooch on that. I did not really look at any of that. So, cool, that's what I have to say about that. Hopefully I'll post another video in like 2 weeks or so when I have more time to read. And if you have a book or movie you want to watch, I'm not really into movie reviews, I don't know why I said that, but if you have like a book or a script or a screenplay that you want me to read, go ahead and drop a comment or send me a text if you have my number, I don't know. 9 out of 10, IGN would give it a 7.8 out of 10, too much dialogue. So that's all I gotta say about that. Alright, bye. Cool, so, of course, the book is Darth Plagueis,